In this video, I'm going to show you how to embed the Anvil PDF template builder into your own app. So embedding the PDF template builder, which is this UI here, enables your users to set up their own custom PDF templates inside of your app instead of your team logging into Anvil and setting them up for your users. So I'm going to use an example script that we have built out here. It's open source, it's on our GitHub page, so you can follow along. So the first thing you need to do is grab your API key from your Anvil organization settings. So go to the organization settings, API page, and then you can grab your development key here. And then the second thing you'll need to do is add your domain to allow iframe embedding. So I'm going to be embedding the iframe in localhost 8089, and so I've added that to my card here. So back to the demo page. The first part that we're showing here is your application. So we have your application here. In our case, this is just a simple HTML file, and it has an iframe. And so we've generated a URL with the Anvil API. This URL is one-time use, and so all you need to do is generate that URL and put it in the iframe source. So you can use a plain HTML iframe, or we also have a React component that helps with this. Okay, so we've generated this URL, and when we do that, we get to specify what's in the sidebar here. So we can specify the required fields, the optional fields, and so just give your users a very specific list of fields that they can drag into the document. So I can drag in the client name here, and they can sort of drag in the rest of them. So these fields have types. You get to choose the name here, and they also have field aliases that map to fields in your own data, in your system. The user needs to add every single one of these fields to the document in order to click the finish button here. So the iframe also sends messages to your application. So it's actually telling the parent frame what's going on when the page has been loaded. So this is a loaded event, and then if we were to click the finish button, that would also send another event to our application. Cool, so I'm going to go into the code now, just to give you a little example of how this is working. We are using the Anvil node client in our example here. So this script is intended to be run on the server, not on the browser. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new PDF template. So we're going to upload a PDF document from my system and create a PDF template in Anvil. We're going to use the create cast mutation here to create that template. And then once we've done that, we'll have a response. We'll have a brand new PDF template inside of Anvil. It will have a new ID. And then we can use that ID here to create an embedded URL. And then we can send that embedded URL to the application. In our case, this is going to be this HTML page here. So our HTML page has an iframe with an empty source, and then we're actually going to grab the source from this URL query parameter here. So there's a little bit of JavaScript in the example HTML page that grabs that URL, and it puts it in the iframe source here. Okay, so I mentioned that you can set the field information here on the sidebar. So the field definitions are passed into the call that generates this URL. So I'll expand this here. So this generate embed URL call is what is creating the embedded URL. There's a number of options that you can set, like the strings in the UI here. But what we're focused on here is the sort of the fields. So you can see that the client name corresponds with the client name in the sidebar here, client email, client email. So you can change these to whatever you want. I'm going to change this to test, client name test, and I'm also going to change this to client name. So the types here are, it's a specific set of types that we support. You can see the docs for the full list. Then the alias ID is something that you get to specify that maps the data in your system onto this field. So when you have the completed template, the template that has been set up by your own user, you would send this as the key to fill out this PDF. So you would send client name : Robin Smith to this PDF template to fill that field. So I'm actually going to hide the title bar here, and then I'm going to run this to give you a little example. Okay, great. So we have our new field name here, client name test, and so we can drag this into the document, and then you can also see that the title bar has been removed. So with the title bar hidden, we can actually submit this page programmatically with our own button. So we can control this experience here. So I'm going to try to submit this with just one required field. You can see that it sends messages to the parent frame saying that there's missing required fields. And it tells you specifically which ones are missing. So now I can add all these fields to the document, and then I can submit the page. So we'll add the email, signature, the name again, and the signature date. And that's it. Please see the description for links to the example scripts used in the video and the documentation.